is. Hi guys, it's me, Mrs. Brand. I am here with you to go over your pretest for your math. If you are, if you're seeing that you're not done with your math pretest yet, then turn this off, go do your math pretest, and then come back and check your answers once you're done. Alright? So if you're done, let's continue on then. Paulo bought 3 juice boxes for 77 cents each. He gave the clerk $5. How much money should he get back? Well, first of all, we need to look and see that 77 3 times. So you can either add 77 3 times, or you can multiply it by 3 to get how much it costs for the juice. So we have 21, 22, 23. So we have $2.31. So he had $2.31 that he spent, but he gave the clerk $5. So here we're going to subtract. More on the floor, go next door. They don't have anything, go next door again. Finally found somebody to give out some stuff. You get a 4 there. Then we have this becomes a 10, but then we have to give one away, so we make it a 9, and then that 0 becomes that 10. 10 minus 1 is 9, 9 minus 3 is 6, decimal point, 4 minus 2 is 2, and dollar sign, so $2.69 should be how much she gets back. Okay, and you can double check your work. 9 and 1 is 10, carry your 1. 6 and 3 and 1 is 10, carried by 1. 2 and 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Alright, list the factors of 24 that are also factors of 32. Now remember, a factor is a number that I can multiply in order to get 24, or a number I can multiply to get 32. And you want to start out with the very beginning. So I'm going to put a chart. I got 24 over here, and I have 32 over here. And I start with, I have 1 times 24, and then I have 2 times 12, I have 3 times 8, and I have 4 times 6. So those are the 4 possibilities that I have. Those are all my factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24. Now I do 32, same way. 1 times 32. It's an even number, so I know I can divide it by 2 or multiply something by 2 to get it. 2 times 16. Then I have, can I do 3? Let's see, 3 plus 2 is 5. Nope, can't divide it by 5. I have 4, yep, 4 times 8. We know we can't do 5 because it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. And we can't do 6 because it doesn't work. Not a multiple of 2 and 3, just 2. So these are the final answers I have for that. But now I have to figure out which ones are the same. So the factors that I find that are the same, I have 1, I have 2, I have a 2 over here and a 1 over here. I look, I have a 4. Oh, yep, I have a 4. So I have a 4 over here. And then I have an 8 here, and I have an 8 here. So the factors I have are 1, 2, 4, and 8 that are the same between those two numbers. Okay, so first write out your list of all the different multiplications that you can get, and then write down the numbers that are in common. Alright, name the shaded part of the square as a fraction and as a decimal. Well, I know each of these are lines of 10, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So I have 55. That's my numerator out of, just to make sure, there's 6 going across here, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 100. So out of 100 squares, I have 55, so it's 55 out of 100. As a decimal, I put my decimal point there. Because it's already out of 100, I can just put the numerator after my decimal point. So now I have 0.55 or 55 hundredths. Okay, so 55 over 100 and 0.55 as your answers as far as what they look like. Now, use words to write the decimal number. Now here's where we use our words, and remember I said look at what's before the decimal point. So before the decimal point we have what number? 290, right? 290. No ands in there yet. It's 290. Alright, decimal. The decimal point means the word and, so that's where you write your word and. And then I look at what number I have after the decimal point. I have 37 after the decimal point. 37. Now the last part of this is what place is that 7 in? Well, remember I said that the 0 and the 1 are kind of like a partner, but now the 9 is in the tens, but the 3 is in the tenths. And then the 2 is in the hundreds, but the 7 is in the hundredths. So if this is in the hundredths, that would be the number or the word I finished writing. Hundredths. And if you think of that decimal, that 37 over here, out of 100, right? So if we can think of that as almost like a fraction. So when you have it, you have 290 and 37 hundredths. 290 and 37 hundredths. Again, the number before the decimal point, the and for the decimal point, the number after the decimal point, and then what place the last number's in. That is just a period for the sentence. It's not another decimal point. Okay, so if you were getting confused there, don't be confused. That's just the end of a sentence. All right, write the fraction 19 over 100 as a decimal number. Well, we already have 100, so we're good to go. So we put our decimal point down, and then we have our 19. So there we go. That's what it looks like as a decimal number. All right, next column. Use digits to write the decimal number 8 7/10. Well, I have the word and here, so that gives me my decimal point. 7/10, I can tell that I'm in the tenths column, and that's right there. So I'm going to put that 7 in the tenths column. 8 is before the word and, so 8 has to be before the word and, or the decimal point, so 8.7 is how you'd write that. Which digit is in the tenths place? Well, the tenths place, if you think about this as money, which one are the dimes? The dimes are in the tenths place because they're worth 10 cents each. So the number 8 is in that place. Find the length of the line segment to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. All right, so first of all, we come to the 4. That's the nearest number, the whole number. So it's 4. And then to the nearest tenth, each of these are divided into tens. The middle, the longer one being 5. So if I look at that, it's longer than the 5. It looks like it's lining up with the 6. So you can put 4 6/10, or you can do 4.6. Either one is correct. Okay? So that's how you do that one. Compare. All right, I have, and like I've said this before, if we look at the tenths column, we look at one number at a time. Here we have a 3. In the tenths column over here, I have a 0. 3 is greater than 0, so then this has to be greater. And our sign goes like that. Estimate the product of 41 and 76. So if I'm estimating a product is a multiplication problem. 41 is close to 40. 76 is closer to 80. And remember, we know what we can do. Cross off our zeros, put them on down here. and then just do 8 times 4 is 32. So the estimated product is 3,200. 3,200. On your last problem right here, on this side, you have a bunch of different numbers. Now you can choose to add them out however you want. Okay? I'm just going to go ahead and just make them in a line, lining up my numbers together. And again, you have to make sure your numbers are lined up in the right spots or you're not going to get the right answer. Alright, so 1 and 8 is 9. 1 more is 10. 4 more is 14. I carry my 1. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then 4 more is 15. Carry my 1. 9 and 1 is 10. And then 4 and 2 is 6, so that's 16. Carry my 1. 1 and 3 is 4. So I should get 4,654. Alright, I could double check that I wrote my numbers right first. 924, yep, 3240, my 1. Adding them up together. And making sure that you don't forget the first number that's up there. Sometimes if we write our numbers down, we might forget to do that. So I'm going to recheck my answer here. 5, 6, 14, 4 and 7's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 9, 10, 16. Yep, I got the same answer twice, so I probably did it correctly. And yes, it is done correctly. Alright, so if you flip it to the back side, we'll go over these ones. Again, we've got a couple zeros there. More on the floor, go next door. Go over here. Oh, we finally have something in that column. Make that a 4. This becomes a 10. We break it apart, give one away, and we have a 10 over here. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 7 is 2. Oh, more on the floor. We need to go next door. Take 1 away from that. Get that 14 there. 14 minus 8 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So 624. Check your answer. Write it down. 1, 2, 8, 7, 6 plus 6, 2, 4. 10, 10, 8, and 6 is 14. 1 more is 15. Carry my 1. 3 and 1. 13,500. Okay? And that equals what we started with. Alright, here's one of these where we have that long division process, or long multiplication process. So, 3-digit times 3-digit. We know that we do 0 times 4, 0 times 2, 0 times 9. We're done with our ones. So we put a place value holder right underneath there. Now we are going to go on to our 5s. So we have 5 times 4 is 20, carry our 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 more is 12, carry my 1. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 1 more is 46. Crossing out those numbers. I'm done with my 5, so now I have to have 2 of those in place. Alright, now we go to our 3. 3 times 4 is 12, carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 9 times 3 is 27. Add all my numbers together. I had nothing in this column, nothing in that column, 4 in that column, 13, and then we have 11 and 1 is 12, carry our 1 and 3. So we put our comma in there, we have 323,400. Okay. Alrighty, I know that's a long process. Just remember that for every number you finish, you're going to have that here. I have 1 number here, then 2 zeros here. If we had another one, we'd have 3 zeros in the next row. You have 3 digits, so you have 3 rows, that kind of thing. So just double check your work, take it slow, do it again if you need to, and make sure that your answers are coming out right. Alright. 4214 divided by 7. because remember this means divisor is the bottom number, top number's in the box, the dividend. How many 7s can we get out of 42? 6. 6 times 7 is 42. Sister subtract. Brother in town, bring him on down. Now we have to do this, okay? You don't have to write that there, but that's what you're thinking. How many 7s can I get out of 1? None. That has to go on the roof. We can't skip that process. 0 times 7 is 0. Subtract, I have 1. Brothers in town, bring them on down. How many 7s can I get out of 14? 2. 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract, you have 0. So 602 times 7 should equal this. If you're not sure, I always would go back and check. 602 times 7, 14, carry your 1, 1, and 42, and that's exactly what we have in our box. So that would be our answer. Okay? 35 times 60 times 2. You can figure this out any way you want to. I'm going to do 35 times 2 because I know that's going to give me an even number. 35 times 2 gives me 70. Now I can do 70 times 60. 70 times 60. You can cross off those zeros, put them on down. 6 times 7 is 42. 4,200. All right, 16. We look at this one. We have how many 7s can you get out of 9? 1. 1 times 7 is 7. Sister subtract. Brother in town, bring him on down. How many 7s can we get out of 28? 4. 4 on the roof. Roof times the door. 1's up on the floor. Bring down that brother. You can't skip him. And you gotta, then he has to go to dad again. So you gotta go, how many 7s can I get out of 0? 0. 0 times 7 is 0. Sister subtract. So you end up with 140. 140. All right, our next one, next column, last column, we have $98.40 divided by 60. All right, so how many 60s can I get out of 90? I can get 1. 1 times 60 is 60. I subtract, and I get 38. Brother in town, bring him on down. How many 60s can I get out of 384? You can start thinking, how many 6s can I get out of 38? That'll help you get in the area. Well, I can get 6 out of there. So 6 times 60 is 360. Subtract, we have 2, 4. I have another brother in town, so I have to bring him on down. How many 60s can I get out of 240? I can get 4. 4 times 60 is 240. Sister subtract, I get 0. Okay, so when you're doing that, kind of think about that first 2 digits and the first digit over here. And that'll get you in the ballpark. That'll help you figure out about what number should I be looking at. Okay, and then of course put your decimal point and your dollar sign up here when you're done. Okay. All right. So next ones deal with those fractions. Remember, the parentheses means do me first. So we do that first. 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. We keep the denominator the same. Now when I don't have something to subtract, I have to change that to 6 and 5/5. It's the same as 7, but we want to have that 5/5 here for the fraction. So we do 6 minus 3 equals 3. 5 minus 1 is 4 over our denominator that we don't change. So we end up with 3 and 4/5. Okay? So remember, you change the 7 to 6 and 5/5 so that you have a fraction to work with. For 19, it's going to be adding fractions. So I'm going to start with my whole numbers first. 1 and 3 is 4. 4 and 5 is 9. Now I do my fractions. 2 and 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. And I end up with 9 and 5/5. But we don't ever say 9 and 5/5. 9 and 5/5 is actually 10. Because we know that 5 out of 5 is 1 whole. So we add 1 whole to that 9 and we get 10. Okay, so make sure you write that like that on your test tomorrow. When you do your test, make sure that you've changed this into that. Divide and write the number as a mixed number. All right, so remember our division problem is just like this. 19 divided by 3. So let's start there. How many 3's can I get out of 19? 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Sister subtract, we get 1 left over. Now to write it as a mixed number, all you're doing is you're taking that 1 and you're moving it up here, and you're taking that 3 and you're using it as your denominator. So you have 6 and 1/3 as your answer for that. Okay, so that's your test. Go over some things, see what you did wrong, see where you might need some work. If you need some help, you can ask your parents, or you could get a hold of me. And I hope you do well on your test tomorrow.